Listen up because what I'm about to tell you is gonna mess with your head. This is the story of Ryuto Kageyama, and trust me when I say this kid didn't just inherit money or power. He inherited a bloodline soaked in lies, betrayal, and a scandal so dark it could destroy empires. Part 1. The boy who knew too much. Ryuto was 23 when he found out his entire life was a lie. Growing up in Tokyo, he lived in a penthouse that overlooked the city. Like some god-watching ants crawl below, his father Takeshi Kageyama was the CEO of Kageyama Industries. Real estate, tech, pharmaceuticals, you name it, they owned it. But Takeshi was cold, not the tough love kinda cold, but the kind where you grow up wondering if your own father even remembers your name. Ryuto's mother Akiko was different. Beautiful, elegant, and always smiling in public, but behind closed doors she was a ghost. She moved through rooms like she was haunted by something. No one else could see. Ryuto spent his childhood trying to figure out what broke her. Then one night everything shattered. It was late. Ryuto came home early from a business trip. His father sent him on some bullshit deal in Osaka that didn't need him there in the first place. He walked into the penthouse and heard voices, not just voices, his mother's voice trembling with rage and another man's voice, deep, smooth, dangerous. Ryuto froze in the hallway. You should have told him the truth years ago. The man said his name was Daichi Kurosawa. Ryuto knew the name. Everyone did. Daichi was Takeshi's biggest rival. The two of them had been at war for decades. Corporate espionage, hostile takeovers, lawsuits. That made headlines. And here he was in Ryuto's home talking to his mother like they were old lovers, because they were. Akiko's voice cracked. If I tell him, it will destroy him. The man laughed bitterly. Has already destroyed Akiko, you just don't see it yet. Ryuto should have walked away. He should have pretended he heard nothing. But he didn't. He stepped into the room, and the look on his mother's face told him everything. Part to the secret that changes everything. Daichi didn't flinch. He looked at Ryuto with eyes that were sharp, calculating, and strangely familiar. Then he smiled. So this is him, your son. Ryuto felt his chest tighten. What the hell is going on? Akiko stood up, tears streaming down her face. Ryuto, please sit down. The man said, you're gonna want to hear this. And that's when Daichi Kurosawa told Ryuto the truth. Takeshi Kageyama wasn't his real father. Daichi was 25 years ago. Akiko and Daichi were in love. They were young, reckless, and planning to run away together. But Daichi's family was Yakuza. Connected, dangerous. Akiko's family was old money, and they wanted nothing to do with that world. So they made a deal with Takeshi Kageyama, a businessman with ambition, but no heir. Takeshi would marry Akiko and raise her child as his own. In return, her family would back his company with enough capital to turn him into a titan. Akiko never had a choice. Daichi was forced out of her life, and Ryuto grew up believing a lie. He told you nothing because he wanted you to be his. Daichi said, but you're not. Your mind and the empire you think you're inheriting, half of it should belong to you through me. Ryuto felt like the floor had dropped out from under him. Part 3. In her hand. Ryuto didn't go home that night. He couldn't. He wandered the streets of Tokyo until he ended up in a bar in Shibuya. That's where he met her, Hana Mizushima. She was sitting alone at the bar drinking whiskey like she had nowhere else to be. Dark hair, sharp eyes, and a smile that looked like trouble. Ryuto sat down next to her and ordered a drink. She glanced at him. You look like someone just told you the world ended. He laughed bitterly. Something like that. She slid her glass toward him. Welcome to the club. They talked for hours. Hana was a journalist, the kind who dug into stories no one wanted uncovered. She was working on a piece about corporate corruption. And guess whose name kept coming up? Takeshi Kageyama. Ryuto should have walked away right then. But something about her pulled him, and maybe it was the way she looked at him, like she saw through all the bullshit. Maybe it was the way she didn't treat him like some rich kid with daddy issues. Or maybe it was just that for the first time in his life, he felt like someone actually gave a damn. They ended up back at her apartment. What happened next was planned. It was raw, desperate, and real. The broken people trying to forget their lives for just one night. But when he woke up the next morning, she was gone, and on the table was a note. I know who you are, Ryuto, and I know what your father did. We need to talk. Part for the game begins. Over the next few weeks, Hana and Ryuto became tangled in something that was part investigation, part obsession, and part dangerous attraction. She showed him documents, emails, financial records that proved Takeshi had been using illegal tactics to crush his rivals for years, including Daichi Kurosawa. But it went deeper. Takeshi had known the truth about Ryuto's real father all along, and had spent decades making sure Daichi could never claim what was his. He didn't just steal your mother, Hana said. He stole your entire future. Ryuto felt rage building inside him. The kind that makes you do stupid, reckless things. He wanted revenge, not just against Takeshi, but against everyone who lied to him. And Hana, she wanted the story, but somewhere along The way it stopped being about the story. They started working together. By day, Ryuto played the obedient son, attending meetings. Pretending everything was fine by night, he and Hana planned how to take Takeshi down. But the closer they got, the more dangerous it became. Someone was watching them. Takeshi's security, the Yakuza, maybe even Daichi. And the more time Ryuto spent with Hana, the harder it became to tell where the mission ended. And his feelings began one night after a close call with Takeshi's men. They ended up back at her place. She was shaking. He pulled her close. "This is insane," she whispered. "We should stop," but neither of them did. Part 5. Betrayal cuts deep. Things started moving fast. Ryuto confronted Takeshi. The old man didn't even blink. "You think you're special because Daichi Kurosawa is your real father," Takeshi said coldly. "You're nothing. You've always been nothing. I made you into something," Ryuto snapped. He leaked documents to Hana. She published the story. It went viral. Kageyama industry stock crashed. The board turned on Takeshi. Lawsuits piled up. For a moment it looked like Ryuto had won, but then Hana disappeared.